Hello, I'm Stan. Welcome back to the video where I'm attempting to make an outdoor sculpture of a couple of cone flowers with a rotating butterfly on top of one of them. You may remember in the last video we cut out the butterfly wings. We also cut out the two sides of his body, and we did some hammer forming on this. Now in this video I got a picture. We're going to work on making the cone and the spinning mechanism and the bearings that are involved in that. We're going to add some legs and antennae to the butterfly, and also want to start cutting some of these petals. I think I know how big I want them, but I'm not sure exactly how many I'm going to need. I looked it up, and cone flowers, depending on the variety, they have anywhere from 8 to like 21 or 22 petals. I'm thinking I'm probably going to wind up with about 10, maybe 12. Anyway, that's what I got to figure out. So today we'll cut out some of those as well. So let's get started. This is some of that 40 thousandths thick carbon steel that we used on the wings. If you remember, we used the plasma cutter on those, but for this I'm using my jigsaw with a 21 teeth per inch blade. You might be wondering how I came up with this pattern. Well, there is actually a mathematical formula for figuring this out, but I don't have the patience for that. And perhaps more importantly, I don't know how. So I just took a guess and worked it out. I rely a lot on that time-tested tradition of hammer to fit and paint to match. It's never really been improved on. I'm glad I only need 2 of these. Kind of tedious, but the heart wants what the heart wants. And I think it'll be worth it in the end. Oh yeah, if you're not already, would you consider subscribing and or give me a thumbs up? And I would also like to hear your comments. Thanks. Okay, let me see if I can explain this. Pretty much made this out of just scrap around the shop, other than the bearings, which I ordered off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of exactly what those were. But basically what I got here is, this is a piece of 1/2 inch black pipe, what you normally get at the hardware store. It's got threads on it. I've got those cut off on this, and then this is a 3/4 inch nipple that I have kind of ground down, because this is going to be the bottom of the flower. And I'll show you here in a minute how this will mount to the stem. But also, in order to keep the bearings in place, I figured out this copper tubing. The OD of this copper tubing is just a few thousand smaller than the ID of this black pipe, So I was able to hammer a piece of that down in there to keep the upper and lower bearings in place. And then I also, out of this same copper tubing, I made these sleeves, which are going to help the 3/8 roller bearings keep from having a bunch of slop in them. So let's see, put the bottom one in. And these are kind of tight. That's why I was. And then one goes on the top. So this is the shaft. The butterfly will actually mount up here on this part of it. Oh yeah, so here I'm using this to 3/8. I believe it's called a thrush bearing. And like I say, I'll put a link in the description. I ordered these off Amazon. And this is what is really going to allow the butterfly to spin around. It'll hold the weight and works really well. I don't know if you've seen my video on the wind-powered grandfather clock, but this is what's inside that clock, and it holds that big wind spinner on top of that. And I got these collets with a set screw in it that keep all this stuff in place. On my final assembly, I'm going to clean all this really well. I got grinding grit in these bearings, clean them really well, and then I'll probably put grease on it. Oil would probably be better for spinning, but grease is going to hold up longer. Because this is going to be outside and probably have water running through it, and I'm going to use grease. So here's a 3/4 inch nipple. If you can pretend like this is what I'm going to use for the stem. About a 4 or 5 foot long piece of this 3/4 inch. Now this is galvanized piece right here. So it's going to the flower's just going to screw right onto it like that. Now I actually added a piece onto this nipple. I'm going to put a set screw in here to help lock it in. So for now I can slip this over the top. When the butterfly is welded on here, of course this would have to come out the bottom. But anyway, so this will eventually, I'm going to have to be screwed. This can't be welded to this. It's going to be able to come off it. We'll put a plate in here and thread it, and then have probably a flathead screw on either side, or maybe 3, that'll hold that in place. So that's what I hope is going to work. We'll see. So here's how I made the legs. I just cut up some pieces of 1/4 inch round carbon steel rod, and then in the butterfly drilled 3 holes, and then I'm simply going to bend them that. And then I'm going to show you on the other one. So these, I just welded all these together and then tacked it, and then the antenna. So this video was a little on the long side, so I'm going to put off making the pedals until the next video, and I'll also show you how I bent this piece of pipe, which is going to be one of the stems. So, till next time, God bless.